The morning it all shattered didn't begin with screaming. It began with a quiet ping from my phone while I was packing Harper's little pink backpack for preschool. Sunlight from our kitchen window in New Jersey fell across the counter, soft and warm, almost gentle enough to hide the storm coming. I wiped my hands on a dish towel and glanced at the notification. An automated alert from the bank. Unusual withdrawal, $50,000. For a second, I didn't breathe. That money wasn't just savings. It wasn't a rainy day fund. It was Harper's surgery money. Every overtime hour I had worked in Manhattan, every skipped vacation, every careful plan for her fragile heart. My fingers turned cold. I opened the bank app, scrolling through the transactions with a rising ache in my chest. Then I saw it. Hermès, Fifth Avenue, Louis Vuitton, Madison Avenue, luxury stores, designer bags. My vision blurred at the edges. Ethan, my husband, the man who swore he would do anything for our daughter, had taken her lifeline and turned it into handbags. Harper called for me from the hallway, her voice bright and trusting. I forced myself to answer her, forced my voice not to crack. She didn't deserve to feel the ground shaking beneath us. I tried calling Ethan, straight to voicemail. Again. With trembling hands, I checked our shared credit card next. Charges from a hotel in Manhattan, the Plaza. A room booked under his name. 2 guests. My stomach twisted, the truth slicing through the last pieces of denial I'd been holding on to. Ethan didn't just betray our daughter. He betrayed every sacrifice I ever made for this family. And while I stood there shaking, another notification popped up on my phone, one that made my knees weaken entirely. It wasn't the last withdrawal he made. It was only the beginning. I don't remember sitting down. One moment I was standing in the kitchen staring at the screen, and the next I was in a chair, clutching my phone as if squeezing hard enough could undo what I'd seen. My heart hammered against my ribs, loud enough that I barely heard Harper humming to herself in the hallway while putting on her little sneakers. I opened the withdrawal list again, hoping, praying that I had misread it. But the numbers stayed the same. The stores stayed the same. The betrayal stayed the same. I scrolled further, my breath tightening. A second hotel charge. Not just the Plaza, another at a boutique hotel in Soho. Champagne service, room upgrade, late-night dining for 2. My hands began to shake uncontrollably. For months, Ethan had insisted we tighten our spending, scolding me for buying Harper a winter coat when the old one was too small. He had argued when I bought new shoes after mine tore. He even told me Harper's medical appointments were too frequent and that I was overreacting about her symptoms. And the whole time, he was using our daughter's surgery fund to spoil another woman. My throat closed. How was I supposed to tell Harper that the money meant to save her heart was gone? Just then, Harper ran into the kitchen, holding her stuffed bunny. "Mommy, do we get pancakes today?" Her smile, soft, bright, innocent, stabbed through me. I forced my lips to move. "Of course, sweetheart. Go get your jacket." I turned back to the phone, blinking away tears. I scrolled lower. Then I froze. And a new transaction, posted just minutes ago. A jewelry purchase, almost $6,000. The location, Cartier on Fifth Avenue. My stomach lurched. He was still spending. Right now, as our daughter's heart condition worsened, something inside me cracked wide open. Panic collided with rage, and trembling resolve began to form. This wasn't just irresponsibility. This was cruelty. This was a man I no longer recognized, someone capable of sacrificing his child for vanity. And as I stood up to grab my keys, another notification flashed on my screen, one that made my breath stop cold. It was a message from an unknown number, and it mentioned Ethan by name. The unknown number kept glowing on my phone screen as I drove Harper to preschool. gripping the steering wheel so tightly, my knuckles turned white. My pulse thudded in my ears. The message was short, only 6 words, but it hollowed me out. He's here again, with the same woman. The sender didn't identify themselves. No explanation, no details, just confirmation. Cold, blunt, that Ethan wasn't at work like he claimed. He was with her. After dropping Harper off with a smile I barely managed to fake, I sat in the parking lot trembling. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. But instead, I opened the message and typed, "Where?" The reply came instantly, almost as if they had been waiting. Louis Vuitton, 5th Avenue. My chest tightened. Cartier. Hermès. Now Louis Vuitton. It felt like someone was peeling away my life one receipt at a time. I didn't even remember starting the car again, only the blur of Manhattan traffic as I crossed into the city. 5th Avenue gleamed in the winter sun, sharp, cruelly beautiful. A place where dreams were bought and broken. I parked half a block away, my heart slamming against my ribs. And then, I saw them. Ethan walked out of Louis Vuitton carrying 2 glossy orange bags, his suit jacket draped over one arm, his hair perfectly styled, the version of him he never bothered to show me anymore. Beside him was a tall brunette with flawless makeup and a camel-colored coat cinched at the waist. She laughed, touching his arm like she owned him. Sloane Montgomery, the name I only learned hours ago but already despised. For a moment I couldn't move. My body felt frozen, pinned to the sidewalk, as if the world had gone silent. My husband looked happy, radiantly, confidently happy. Happier than he had been in months with me. And then Sloane leaned her head onto his shoulder. The impact was physical, like someone had reached inside my chest and crushed something delicate. I stepped forward without realizing it, my breath hitching. Ethan turned slightly, and for one terrifying moment, I thought his eyes met mine. But he didn't see me. He just kept walking, laughing at something Sloane whispered. My phone buzzed again in my hand. Another message from the unknown number. You need to get out before he ruins you completely. By the time I made it back to my car, my entire body felt hollow. I sat behind the wheel, staring ahead, as if the world had stopped moving. Ethan's laughter with Sloane still echoed in my ears, mixing with the sting of betrayal and the distant hum of 5th Avenue. I didn't know how long I sat there before my phone rang. It was the hospital. Columbia Children's. My stomach dropped. I answered so fast I almost fumbled the phone. Mrs. Bennett, this is Dr. Alvarez. We've reviewed Harper's latest tests and we need to move her surgery up. My breath caught. How soon? Within 6 weeks, ideally sooner. Her heart function is declining faster than expected. 6 weeks, $50,000 gone. Luxury bags, champagne suites, designer coats, bought with the time our daughter didn't have. I pressed a hand to my forehead, trying to steady myself. I understand. I'll make it happen. Call us when the financial office clears the deposit, the doctor continued gently. I know this is stressful, but we'll do everything we can for her. When the call ended, the silence inside the car felt suffocating. Tears blurred the windshield as I leaned forward, trying to breathe. Harper's life had always been fragile, but suddenly it felt like I was holding her heart in my bare hands and someone else, someone reckless, was tearing it apart. I wiped my face and forced myself to focus. I had to fix this. I had to fight. I opened the bank app again. More withdrawals, more hotels, more dinners. Ethan hadn't just emptied the fund. He was still draining everything he could. A sharp knock on my window made me jump. A parking attendant leaned down. Ma'am, you okay? You've been sitting here a while. I nodded, unable to form real words. He gave me a sympathetic look before stepping away. but the interruption snapped something inside me back to life. I couldn't sit here crying while Harper's clock was ticking. I started the engine. I was going to confront Ethan. Not tomorrow, not tonight, but now. He needed to look me in the eyes and explain how he could gamble our daughter's life away. But as I pulled into traffic, another message from the unknown number appeared on my screen. If you go home now, you won't be the only one waiting for him. The drive back to New Jersey felt like wading through thick fog. Every traffic light looked unreal, every face on the sidewalk strange, as if the world had quietly shifted into a different reality, one where my husband was no longer the man I thought I knew. The unknown number's message repeated in my head like a warning siren. You won't be the only one waiting for him. My pulse quickened as I turned onto our street. Ethan's car wasn't in the driveway, but that didn't calm me. His schedule meant nothing now. His lies were endless. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The house was too quiet, or too still, carrying the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty but watched. I walked toward the bedroom, and that's when I noticed it. The faint scent of perfume drifting through the hallway. Not mine, not familiar. A strong floral fragrance with a sharp, expensive edge. My heart sank. I pushed open the bedroom door. And there she was. Sloane Montgomery, sitting at my vanity table, legs crossed, examining one of my earrings, as if browsing at a boutique. Her camel-colored coat was hung neatly over the chair, her designer heels left casually on the rug. She looked perfectly at home. Too at home. She caught my reflection in the mirror and smiled. "Olivia Bennett," she said smoothly. Finally. My throat tightened. "What are you doing in my house?" She shrugged, still admiring herself. "Ethan said I could wait here. He's picking up something for me. A bracelet from Cartier. Very sweet of him." A chill ripped through me. The $6,000 transaction. I stepped closer. "That money was for my daughter's surgery." Sloane frowned as if mildly inconvenienced. "You really should talk to Ethan about budgeting better. He told me you overspend." Overspend. The word sliced through me. I wanted to scream, but fear and fury tangled in my chest. "Get out," I managed. "Now." She finally turned fully toward me, eyes cold, amused. "Relax, Olivia. You're going to lose him anyway. Might as well start getting used to it." Before I could respond, a car door slammed outside. Sloane smirked. Perfect timing. Footsteps approached the front door, heavy, careless, familiar. Ethan was home, and he wasn't alone. Ethan stepped through the doorway with a bright red Cartier bag dangling from his hand, completely oblivious to the war zone he had just walked into. His expression shifted the moment he saw me. Surprise first, then irritation, then something much darker as his gaze flicked toward Sloane, seated comfortably at my vanity. "What are you doing home?" he snapped, as if I were the intruder. I stared at him, unable to process how effortlessly he dismissed the explosion he had caused. "I live here, Ethan," I said quietly. "Or did you forget?" He didn't answer. He just ran a hand through his perfectly styled hair, annoyed. "I told Sloane she could wait inside. You weren't supposed to be here yet." My chest tightened. "This is our daughter's house. You let your mistress inside without telling me?" Sloane laughed softly, twirling one of my bracelets between her fingers. "Mistress is such an outdated word, Olivia. I prefer upgrade." A sharp dizziness washed over me. Ethan stepped closer, lowering his voice as if scolding a child. "Don't start this. You're being dramatic again." I swallowed hard, fighting the tremor in my hands. "Dr. Alvarez called. Harper needs surgery within 6 weeks. And you, I'm handling it," he cut in sharply. "Don't pressure me." "Handling it?" My voice cracked. "You drained the surgery fund. You spent it on her." Ethan's jaw clenched. We'll find another way. You always overreact. Harper's fine." That sentence shattered something in me. The casual cruelty, the indifference, the refusal to see what his own daughter was facing. I took a step toward him. "You lied. You stole. You risked her life. And now you bring—" He slammed the Cartier bag onto the dresser, inches from my arm. "You think you're perfect? You think you're better than me? If you hadn't been so obsessed with hospitals and bills, maybe I wouldn't need someone who actually appreciates me." There it was, the truth behind everything. Sloane smiled smugly and slipped the bracelet from the bag onto her wrist. "Don't worry, Olivia. I'll take good care of him." Something inside me snapped. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands. "Get out. Both of you." Ethan laughed, cold, dismissive. "Or what? You have nothing without me." He didn't see the message notification lighting up my screen. Another text from the unknown number. "You're not alone anymore. Check your email before he does." I didn't dare open the email while Ethan and Sloane were still inside the house. My fingers twitched around my phone as they argued in the next room. Sloane whining about a dinner reservation. Ethan snapping at her to be patient. My heart pounded so violently I could hear the pulse in my ears. Whoever had been texting me knew something. Something big. Something dangerous. I slipped quietly into the hallway bathroom and locked the door. The moment the lock clicked, my breath shuddered out of me. I tapped the notification. The email subject line froze my blood. "Ethan Caldwell, Internal Investigation Update." It was sent anonymously, routed through a private server. Inside were scanned documents, pages and pages of financial statements, suspicious transfers, unauthorized expense reports, forged signatures. My stomach twisted when I saw my own name on a loan application I had never signed. Ethan had used my identity for my credit, my future. A whisper escaped me. Oh my God. There were photos too. Ethan meeting with a known financial fixer in Manhattan, exchanging envelopes outside a parking garage, notes from an internal audit team, a screenshot of an email where Ethan bragged to someone about moving money around before the board notices. He wasn't just cheating, he was committing fraud, and he was dragging my name into it. Suddenly, the bathroom door rattled. Ethan's voice snapped through the wood. "Olivia! What are you doing in there?" Panic shot through me. I closed every file and tucked the phone behind my back. "Just a minute," I forced out. I splashed cold water on my face, trying to erase the shock. When I opened the door, Ethan studied me with narrowed eyes. "Why are you acting weird?" "Maybe because you brought your mistress into my house," I shot back. He scoffed. "Grow up. You always make things bigger than they are." But this time, I wasn't shrinking beneath his words. Not anymore. I walked past him, clutching my phone like a lifeline. I needed to protect Harper. I needed to protect myself. And I needed someone who understood exactly how dangerous this was. I needed Gabriel Whitlock. As I reached the front door, ready to leave before Ethan could stop me, my phone buzzed again. A new message from the unknown number. "Meet me tonight. I can prove everything." I drove toward Manhattan with my heart pounding against my ribs, the city lights blurring through my windshield. Every mile put more distance between me and Ethan's lies, and yet the weight of what I'd just seen pressed harder against my lungs. Fraud. Forged signatures. My name tied to debts I never touched. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was destruction. The unknown sender told me to meet them at a small cafe near Bryant Park. Normally, I would never go alone, but desperation has a way of pushing fear aside. When I stepped inside, scanning the dim room lit by warm hanging lamps, I didn't see a stranger. I saw Gabriel Whitlock. He rose from his seat, his expression solemn, eyes filled with something like regret, and recognition. The last time we worked together on a finance project, he was poised, intelligent, impossible to read. But tonight, he looked human, concerned, almost protective. "Olivia," he said gently. "Sit." My legs nearly gave out. "It was you," I whispered. "You've been messaging me?" He nodded once. I couldn't stay silent anymore. My pulse spiked. "Why do you have all of this? Ethan's files, the audit notes, the photos. Gabriel, what is going on?" He exhaled a slow, pained breath. "Ethan's been under internal investigation for months. He used your name because he knew the board wouldn't question a clean financial record like yours. He dragged you into this to protect himself." I felt sick. "Why tell me now?" "Because," Gabriel said, leaning closer, lowering his voice. "He's running out of places to hide. And when men like Ethan panic, they burn everything around them." His jaw tightened, including their families. Tears stung my eyes, but I blinked them back. "I have to protect Harper." "You will," he said firmly. "But you need to move fast. Freeze the accounts. Document everything. And Olivia," his voice softened, "you don't deserve any of this." A tremor ran through me. Fear, relief, something in between. "Why are you helping me?" For the first time, Gabriel hesitated. His eyes flickered with an emotion I couldn't decipher. "Because I know what Ethan is capable of, and because letting him ruin you would be unforgivable." Before I could respond, the cafe door swung open. Footsteps, heavy, familiar. Ethan walked in, and his eyes were locked on me. Ethan's figure filled the doorway, his expression twisted with suspicion the moment his eyes landed on Gabriel, and then on me. The cafe suddenly felt too small, too bright, too exposed. He walked toward our table with the confidence of a man who believed he owned every space he entered. "Really, Olivia," he scoffed. "Meeting another man behind my back? And him of all people?" Gabriel didn't flinch. "You should leave, Ethan." Ethan laughed, sharp and ugly. "I don't take orders from you anymore, Whitlock. Not since you fired me from that partnership project." So that was the history between them. Bitterness, ego, old wounds spilling into the present. I stood abruptly. "Ethan, we need to talk." "Sit down," he snapped, pointing at the chair like I was a disobedient employee. Gabriel rose instantly, placing himself between us with quiet authority. "You don't speak to her like that." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Stay out of my marriage." "You destroyed your marriage," Gabriel said calmly. "You did that without any help." For a moment, I saw something flicker in Ethan's eyes, fear. But it vanished beneath the rage swelling in him. He leaned closer to me. "What lies has he been feeding you? So that I'm a criminal? That I'm dangerous? You always were gullible." It took everything in me not to break. "I saw the documents, Ethan, the forged signatures, the loans in my name, the money you stole from Harper." People in the cafe began to turn, whispers rising. Ethan's veneer cracked. "You shouldn't have seen that." The way he said it, quiet, cold, sent a chill through me. Gabriel positioned himself slightly forward. "You're done, Ethan. The board knows. Olivia knows. You won't bury this." Ethan's voice dropped to a venomous whisper. "She thinks you're saving her. She has no idea what's coming." My pulse raced. What is that supposed to mean? Instead of answering, Ethan grabbed the Cartier bag from the table, shooting Gabriel a glare dripping with hatred. "Stay away from my wife." "I'm not your wife if you destroy our family," I said, my voice shaking but steady enough. Ethan stopped mid-step, turning slowly toward me, his jaw clenched. "This isn't over, Olivia." He stormed out, slamming the cafe door so hard the glass rattled. My knees nearly buckled. Gabriel. What did he mean? What is he planning? Gabriel's face paled, his voice barely above a breath. "Olivia, he's already filed something. Against you." "What did he file?" My voice trembled, though I tried to steady it. Gabriel looked at me with an expression I had never seen on him before, fear mixed with anger. "He filed for emergency custody," Gabriel said, jaw tight. "He's claiming you're mentally unstable and a financial threat to your own daughter." My heart plunged to the floor. "What? That's insane. He's the one who—" "That's exactly why he did it," Gabriel cut in gently. "Men like Ethan move first. They attack before you know you need to defend yourself." I sank into the cafe chair, feeling the world spin. He stole her surgery money. He committed fraud. And now he's accusing me? "He knows Harper is your weak spot," Gabriel said softly. "He's using her to break you." I pressed a hand over my mouth to keep from crying. Losing Harper, even temporarily, was my greatest nightmare. Ethan knew that. He was gambling on it. "How fast do I have to respond?" I whispered. "Immediately," Gabriel said. "Tonight. I'll get you an attorney who specializes in emergency custody disputes." I swallowed hard. "Why is he doing this? Why take Harper from me?" "Because you're the only leverage he has left," Gabriel replied. "If he controls you, he thinks he can control the investigation." My stomach twisted. "He won't win. I won't let him." "That's the spirit you'll need," Gabriel said, eyes warm but determined. "We'll freeze the accounts first. If the courts see financial instability on his part, the custody petition could backfire." I nodded, breaths shallow but sharper now. "I'll do whatever it takes." Gabriel hesitated. "Olivia, there's more." My heart stopped. "More?" He slid his phone toward me. On the screen was a forwarded email, one Ethan sent to someone in his company. A single line made my blood run cold. "Once I prove Olivia can't handle our finances, everything becomes mine. Everything. My assets, my accounts, my custody rights, my reputation, my life." Gabriel's voice was low. "He's trying to set you up for complete financial collapse." Tears burned behind my eyes, but beneath them, something stronger took root. Anger. Pure, clean, a righteous anger. I stood up. "Then we strike first." As Gabriel paid the bill, I felt my phone buzz again. Another notification. It wasn't from the unknown number. It was from Ethan. "If you come home tonight, we finish this my way." The sky had already darkened over Manhattan by the time Gabriel and I reached his office building on Park Avenue. The glass tower glowed against the skyline, a sharp contrast to the chaos consuming my life. Inside, everything was polished steel and soft lighting, quiet except for the hum of distant elevators. Gabriel led me into a private conference room overlooking the city. "You'll be safe here," he said gently. "Let's freeze the accounts." My hands trembled as I placed my MacBook on the table. Gabriel walked me through each step, verifying passwords, locking financial access, reporting unauthorized loans, and securing my identity with every digital shield possible. Each click felt like reclaiming a part of myself Ethan tried to steal. When the last account was frozen, Gabriel exhaled softly. "Good. He can't touch anything now." I nodded, though fear still coiled inside me. "He's going to explode when he finds out." "He already planned to," Gabriel said calmly. "At least now he has nothing left to use against you except empty threats." A heavy ache settled in my chest. "What do I do about tonight?" He texted me. "He wants me home." "Then absolutely do not go," Gabriel said, voice firm. Men who feel cornered become unpredictable. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed again, this time with a photo. My breath stopped. It was a picture of my living room, lights on, furniture pushed aside, a wine bottle on the table, uncorked, and then another message followed. Waiting. Ice flooded my veins. He's inside the house. He's been there since I left. Gabriel's jaw tightened. He's trying to intimidate you. Stay here. I'll arrange somewhere safe for you and Harper tonight. Tears welled in my eyes. How did I not see who he was? You saw pieces, Gabriel said softly, but now you see all of him. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed again, this time a call. Ethan. Calling over and over. Gabriel reached across the table and gently pushed the phone down. Don't answer. But the calls didn't stop. And then a voicemail came through, short, slurred, chilling. I pressed play. Ethan's voice growled through the speaker. You think you're smarter than me? You think you can run? You have until midnight to come home, or you'll regret it. Gabriel and I locked eyes, and for the first time, true fear rippled through me. And then another voicemail arrived. This one, not from Ethan, but from Sloane. I stared at my phone, the new voicemail notification glowing like a warning flare. Gabriel watched me closely, his posture tense. Play it, he said quietly. My thumb hesitated for only a second before pressing the screen. Sloane's voice spilled through the speaker, shaken, breathless, stripped of the arrogance she wore like perfume. Olivia, listen carefully. Ethan isn't who you think he is. I thought I could handle him, but he's losing control. He said things tonight, things about you, about Harper, about the money. I thought he was just angry, but now I think he's desperate. You need to stay away from him. I'm leaving town. I suggest you do the same. There was a pause, a trembling exhale. And Olivia, he's been lying to me too. The message ended abruptly. I sat frozen, the room spinning around me. Gabriel's brow furrowed. She sounds terrified. I swallowed hard. If Sloane is scared, that means something snapped inside him. Gabriel nodded. He's unraveling, and desperate men make reckless decisions. Fear settled into my bones. I didn't fear Ethan the way I feared danger. I feared him the way someone fears a wildfire. Not targeted, not personal, just destructive. What now? I whispered. Now, Gabriel said, leaning forward. You file for your own emergency order. You document everything, every threat, every fraudulent transaction, every voicemail. You strike before he blindsides you. I nodded shakily. And Harper? She stays with someone safe tonight. I already contacted a family friend who can help discreetly. My chest tightened. You did all that already? You needed backup, Gabriel said softly. You still do. For the first time, I felt something other than fear inside me. A small flicker of strength, fragile but real. Thank you. You don't need to thank me, he replied. You need to survive this. Before either of us could say more, my phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't Ethan, and it wasn't Sloane. It was a number I recognized instantly. Columbia Children's Hospital. My heart lurched. Harper, I answered, breath caught in my throat. Mrs. Bennett, the nurse said gently. We're calling about Harper's chart. There's been a concerning change in her overnight monitoring results. We need you to come in first thing in the morning. My eyes filled with tears. Is she okay? We're not certain yet. My hands trembled, and then the nurse added, Your husband called us earlier, and we need to discuss what he said. The nurse's words echoed in my skull long after the call ended. We need to discuss what he said. Ethan had contacted the hospital, my safe place, Harper's lifeline, and suddenly nothing felt secure anymore. I sank into the conference room chair as Gabriel watched me with a calm intensity. What did the nurse say exactly? She said there's been a change in Harper's monitoring, and that Ethan called them. My voice cracked. God, Gabriel, what did he tell them? Gabriel exhaled slowly. He might have tried to frame you. Medical neglect, financial irresponsibility. anything to strengthen his custody claim. A sharp pain flooded my chest. But I've been the one bringing her to every appointment. I've been the one paying bills, scheduling tests. I know, Gabriel said. But he's not interested in truth, Olivia. He's trying to win. I pressed my hands to my eyes, feeling the weight of everything crushing down at once. Harper's declining condition, the missing surgery fund, Ethan spiraling, the custody threat, the hospital's concern. It was too much for one night, too much for one mother. I whispered, "What if the hospital believes him?" "They won't," Gabriel said firmly. "We'll get ahead of it. First thing tomorrow, we meet with Dr. Alvarez together. I'll come with you." Something inside me loosened, a small thread of relief. "You'd do that?" Of course. His tone was steady, unwavering. Harper deserves someone fighting clean for her. I nodded, swallowing the rising fear. I need to see her. I need to be there." "You will," Gabriel promised, "but you need rest to think clearly tomorrow." I knew he was right, but rest felt impossible. My mind ran wild, replaying every threatening word Ethan had thrown at me, every forged signature, every missing dollar. Then another terrifying thought struck me. What if Ethan shows up at the hospital tonight? Gabriel paused. "I doubt they'll let him near her unsupervised, but to be safe, I'll call and notify staff. We'll flag your file." My breath trembled. "Thank you." He gave a soft nod, then looked at me with a level seriousness that made my heart thud. "Olivia, tomorrow won't just be about Harper. It will be the day everything breaks open for Ethan." Before I could ask what he meant, my phone vibrated again. This time, it was a message from the hospital. A photo. Harper, awake, frightened, clutching her stuffed bunny. And beneath it, a chilling line. "Your husband already visited tonight. We need to talk immediately." My fingers trembled as I stared at the photo from the hospital. Harper's wide, frightened eyes, staring straight into the camera, clutching her stuffed bunny as if it were the last safe thing in her world. The message beneath it made my blood run cold. "Your husband already visited tonight. We need to talk immediately." I felt my knees weaken. He saw her. Gabriel. He was already there. Gabriel's expression darkened, a rare flash of anger breaking through his calm exterior. "He wasn't supposed to be anywhere near her without your consent. Or medical clearance." My breath turned shallow. What did he say to her? What did he do? "I don't know," Gabriel said, grabbing his coat. "But we're finding out now. Let's go." We rushed out of the building and into the night, Manhattan lights flickering past us as Gabriel drove. My thoughts spiraled. If Ethan had told the hospital lies about me, if he had tried to manipulate Harper, if he had said something to scare her. "He's trying to build a case," Gabriel muttered as he sped onto the West Side Highway. "He knows his investigation is closing in. He's pulling every desperate move he can." Tears burned my eyes. She's 5 years old. She's sick. How could he do this to her? "Ethan doesn't see people," Gabriel said quietly. "He sees leverage." The words hit me like ice. When we reached the hospital, the fluorescent lights felt colder than usual. A nurse I recognized, Melissa, hurried to us, worry etched across her face. "Mrs. Bennett, thank God you're here," she said. "Tom, we were uncomfortable with your husband's behavior. He showed up agitated, asking questions about Harper's treatment, insisting you weren't providing proper care." I felt the ground tilt. "That's a lie. He knows that's a lie." Melissa nodded sympathetically. "We told him we couldn't discuss anything without you present. He became argumentative. Security had to escort him out." A shaky breath escaped me. Gabriel placed a steadying hand on my back. "What about Harper?" I asked, voice cracking. Melissa's expression softened. "She was scared. She kept asking where you were." My chest tightened painfully. "Can I see her?" "Of course," Melissa said. "But Dr. Alvarez needs to speak with you both first. Privately." Gabriel and I exchanged a tense glance. We were led toward a consultation room, my heart pounding harder with every step. But when we walked in, Dr. Alvarez was already waiting, holding a file thick with documents. He looked up at us with grave eyes. "Mrs. Bennett, your husband made a formal report against you tonight." Dr. Alvarez placed the file gently on the table, but nothing about his expression was gentle. His eyes were steady, serious, the kind that told you the next few minutes would reshape everything. "Mrs. Bennett," he began, "your husband filed a formal report alleging medical negligence on your part. He claims you've ignored Harper's worsening symptoms, refused treatment, and mismanaged her care." I felt the air leave my lungs. That's a lie. Every appointment, every procedure, I've been the one bringing her. Gabriel leaned forward, his tone controlled but icy. "Doctor, this is an attempt at custody manipulation. Ethan Caldwell has a history of financial fraud, and we have evidence he used his daughter's medical fund for personal luxury spending." Dr. Alvarez nodded slowly. "We suspected the report wasn't credible. Ethan's behavior tonight raised multiple red flags. But because a formal complaint was filed, we're required to document everything." My chest tightened. "Is this going to affect Harper's treatment?" "No," Dr. Alvarez said firmly. "Her care will continue uninterrupted. But Child Protective Services will likely reach out. They must follow procedure." The room spun for a moment. CPS. The 3 letters no parent ever wants to hear. Gabriel placed a reassuring hand on the table, inches from mine. "We'll handle it. Olivia, breathe." I tried, but fear clawed at my throat. "If CPS believes Ethan—" "They won't," Gabriel interrupted. "Why, we have evidence he drained her surgery fund. We have voicemails, financial records, witness statements. We'll build a case stronger than anything he could fabricate." I wiped my eyes. "What did he say to Harper?" Dr. Alvarez sighed. "He told her you were keeping her in the hospital on purpose. She became distressed. We had to calm her for nearly an hour." A knife twisted in my heart. "She must have been terrified." "She kept asking for you," the doctor added softly. "Your daughter feels safe with you. Remember that." His words steadied me just enough to stand. "I need to see her." "Of course," he said. As Gabriel and I walked toward Harper's room, he leaned closer. "Tomorrow, we file your own emergency petition. You're going to take control back." But when we reached Harper's door, I stopped cold. Her bed was empty, sheets pulled back, stuffed bunny on the floor, monitor beeping into an empty space. A nurse rushed toward us, panic on her face. "Mrs. Bennett, there's a problem. Harper didn't wander off." She swallowed hard before finishing. "She left with someone, and it wasn't authorized." For a split second, I couldn't breathe. My mind refused to accept what I was seeing. An empty hospital bed where my fragile little girl should have been. My hands flew to my mouth as the world tilted violently beneath me. "Where is she?" I gasped. "Where's my daughter?" The nurse looked pale. "Mrs. Bennett. She didn't leave on her own. Someone signed her out." Gabriel stepped forward, voice taut. "Who? Show us the paperwork." The nurse hesitated. "It's complicated." "Show us." Gabriel's voice dropped to a warning growl I had never heard from him before. She handed him the tablet. My stomach twisted as he scrolled, then froze, his jaw clenched. "Olivia," he whispered, turning the screen toward me. There it was, a digital signature, legible, clear, and somehow worse than seeing a knife, Ethan Caldwell. "But that's impossible," I choked out. "He wasn't authorized. He's not allowed to take her anywhere without—" "He told staff you approved it by phone," the nurse said miserably. "He said you were already downstairs waiting." My knees buckled, and Gabriel caught me before I fell. "He took her," I whispered. "He took Harper. My baby. She needs monitoring. She needs oxygen. She needs—" Gabriel tightened his hold. "He won't get far. Hospitals have exit cameras, license plates, timestamps. We'll track him." The nurse swallowed hard. "There's more. He said he was transferring Harper to a private specialist. He brought a small oxygen tank and insisted it was pre-approved." My vision blurred with fury and terror. "He doesn't know what she needs. He could kill her." Gabriel's eyes hardened. "He won't. We won't let him." I forced myself to breathe, to focus, to think. Ethan wasn't doing this out of love. He was doing it out of panic, desperation, control. He needed leverage. He took our daughter because she was the last piece he could use to break me. The nurse's radio crackled. "Security to main exit. Caldwell vehicle seen leaving structure 10 minutes ago." 10 minutes. 10 minutes of him driving with her. 10 minutes of Harper's unstable heart beating in a car instead of a monitored room. I felt my voice rise in a raw, desperate scream. "We have to go now!" Gabriel grabbed his keys, urgency cutting through the air. "We'll find them. I swear it." But as we raced toward the exit, a hospital security officer ran toward us, panic tightening his features. "Mrs. Bennett, there's something else." He held up a small object. Harper's stuffed bunny. Found on the floor of the parking garage, and beside it, a note with Ethan's handwriting. "You left me no choice." I clutched Harper's stuffed bunny so tightly my knuckles turned white. The scent of her, faint vanilla shampoo, clung to the fabric, tilting the world off its axis. Gabriel guided me toward the parking lot, urgency sharp in every step. "We're pulling traffic cam footage," he said, tapping frantically on his phone. "Ethan can't disappear with her, not with how unstable he is." I could barely speak. "She needs oxygen support. She needs monitoring. If her heart rhythm drops—" "I know," Gabriel said softly. "And that's why we'll find her fast." We reached his car, a sleek black Mercedes S-Class, and I barely buckled my seatbelt before he sped out of the garage. My chest felt crushed under waves of panic. The city lights blurred, sirens echoed in the distance, every second stretching into something unbearable. My phone buzzed, a notification from the unknown number. "Check the Midtown Tunnel cameras." My pulse jumped. "Gabriel, they're guiding us. Whoever's been messaging me, they know where Ethan's going." Gabriel's jaw tightened. "Then we follow their lead." He switched on the car's hands-free screen, pulling up a secure feed. A static-filled camera showed blurred images of vehicles entering the tunnel. Then, there, a silver sedan, Harper's car seat in the back. My breath shattered. "That's him. That's Ethan's car." Gabriel floored the accelerator. Traffic thickened as we approached the tunnel entrance, horns blaring, headlights streaking through the night. I gripped the bunny tighter. "What is he thinking?" I whispered. "Where could he possibly take her?" Gabriel kept scanning the lanes. "Somewhere he thinks you won't follow, or somewhere he can hide long enough to pressure you." I felt sick. He's using her, our child, as a bargaining chip. "He's not in control anymore," Gabriel said. "That makes him dangerous." My phone buzzed again. Another message. "He won't go to New Jersey. He's heading somewhere he thinks looks legitimate." I frowned through the panic. "Legitimate? What is that?" Gabriel's eyes widened. "The private clinic in Long Island," he said. "He's mentioned it before. One of his colleagues used it. Ethan thinks fancy means competent." "But it's not equipped for Harper," I cried. "She could crash on the way." "We're not letting that happen." He swerved onto the exit ramp toward Long Island, urgency burning through the night. My phone chimed again, this time with an attachment, a video. My hand shook as I opened it. Harper, in the back seat of Ethan's car, looking pale, whispering, "Mommy, I don't feel good. And then, Ethan's voice in the background. Just hold on. Daddy has a plan. I replayed the video again and again, each time feeling a fresh stab of terror. Harper's tiny voice, weak, breathless, echoed through the car. Her lips looked pale, her eyes heavy. She was crashing. I knew the signs too well. Gabriel glanced at me, worry cutting through his steady focus. We're close, Olivia. Just hold on. But I couldn't hold on. Not when every mile Ethan drove put Harper closer to a medical emergency she might not survive. My phone buzzed again. A location pin, sent by the unknown number. I opened it with trembling hands. Gabriel. It's a service road near the Long Island clinic. He must have pulled over. Gabriel accelerated, weaving through traffic with controlled precision. Good. That means he realized something was wrong. Maybe he's calling for help. I shook my head, tears blurring the passing lights. He doesn't ask for help. He hides. He covers. He pretends everything is fine until it's too late. And that was the truth I'd been ignoring for years. 5 agonizing minutes later, we turned onto a dimly lit road bordered by trees. Ahead, headlights glowed faintly. A silver sedan, Harper's car seat visible through the back window. My heart slammed against my ribs. Gabriel hadn't even finished braking before I flung open the door and ran. Harper! Baby! Mommy's here! But when I reached the car, my blood froze. She wasn't moving. Her head had slumped to the side, her stuffed bunny resting on her lap. Panic tore through me. I yanked the door open, my hand shaking violently. Her breaths were shallow, barely there. Gabriel! I screamed. She's crashing! He sprinted over, dialing emergency services. Stay with her, Olivia. Talk to her. Keep her awake. I lifted Harper into my arms, rocking her gently. Sweetheart, open your eyes. Mommy's right here. Please, baby. Her eyelids fluttered but didn't open. Then I heard footsteps behind us, unsteady, dragging. Ethan. He stumbled toward us, eyes wild, face pale with panic. I didn't know she'd get worse. I thought, Olivia. And I thought the clinic. You thought, I snapped through tears, and you almost killed her. He reached out as if to touch Harper, but Gabriel stepped between us, blocking him entirely. Back away, Gabriel warned. Right now. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. Ethan's chest heaved. I didn't mean, this wasn't. But before he could finish, police lights flooded the road, and an officer stepped out, hand on his holster. Ethan Caldwell, you're under arrest. The hospital room was quiet except for the rhythmic beeping of the monitor beside Harper's bed. Dawn filtered softly through the blinds, washing everything in pale gold. After the longest night of my life, Harper was finally stable. Dr. Alvarez said we reached her just in time. I sat beside her, gently stroking her hand, feeling the warmth return to her small fingers. Mommy's here, I whispered. You're safe now. She didn't wake, but her breathing was steadier, stronger. I let myself exhale for the first time in hours. A soft knock sounded at the door. Gabriel stepped in, holding 2 coffees. He looked tired, the night etched into the lines around his eyes, but his presence steadied the room like gravity itself. I got the strongest one they had, he murmured, setting a cup beside me. You'll need it. Thank you, I said quietly. Words felt too small to hold the weight of what he'd done, how he'd stood between me and disaster more than once. He took a seat across from me. Ethan was processed this morning. Charges include child endangerment, fraud, identity misuse, and more to come once the board finalizes their findings. A heavy knot loosened in my chest. So he's really done. Yes, Gabriel said firmly. This time, there's no escaping consequences. I looked back at Harper, brushing a strand of hair from her forehead. She deserves peace, stability, a life without fear. And she'll have it, he said softly. You both will. There was something in his voice, gentle but certain, that made my heart shift in my chest. For so long, I'd been bracing for impact, waiting for the next disaster. But now, there was space to breathe, space to imagine a future not ruled by survival. As if sensing the change, Harper stirred slightly, her fingers curling around mine in a weak but deliberate grip. Tears filled my eyes. "She's fighting," Gabriel said quietly. "She always has," I whispered. Just then, my phone buzzed on the bedside table. I glanced at it, expecting another update from the hospital. But it wasn't the hospital. It was a message from an unknown sender, the same one who'd helped us find Harper. One final text. "You're safe now, but there's something you still need to know about Ethan." The message on my phone glowed like a final riddle. "You're safe now, but there's something you still need to know about Ethan." My pulse quickened, but before I could open it, Dr. Alvarez entered. "Good news," he said warmly. "Harper is strong enough for surgery. We can operate tomorrow morning." Relief washed through me so completely, I almost sank into the chair. "Thank you, doctor. Thank you." He smiled gently before stepping out, leaving the room bathed in a hopeful quiet. Gabriel approached, hands in his pockets, eyes soft. "You did it," he said. "You got her here. That's because of you." I shook my head. "No, I couldn't have done any of this without you." He didn't deny it. Instead, he sat beside me, close enough that our shoulders brushed. It felt grounding, warm, safe. "Are you going to open the message?" he asked. With a steadying breath, I swiped it open. A video file. The screen flickered to life. Ethan in an office, red-faced, yelling into the phone. Papers littered the desk. His voice was frantic. "I don't care what it takes. If she testifies, I'm finished. Get her to back down. Use the kid if you have to. I don't care." My stomach knotted. This was before everything happened. Proof he'd planned to use Harper as leverage all along. Proof of everything he'd tried to deny. Gabriel's jaw tightened. "This seals it. He'll never get near you or Harper again." A soft breath escaped me. Half grief, half victory. It's over." "No," he corrected gently. "It's beginning." The next morning arrived like a new chapter. I held Harper's hand as they wheeled her into surgery, pressing a kiss to her forehead. She whispered, "Mommy, will you be here when I wake up?" "Always," I said. Hours later, the surgeon came out smiling. It was a success. I collapsed into Gabriel's arms, sobbing with relief. "She gets to live," I whispered. "She gets a chance." "So do you," he murmured. Weeks passed. Harper healed. I filed for full custody and won. Ethan's charges multiplied. The board removed him permanently. His name became synonymous with downfall and deceit. He faced exactly what he created. Justice. One crisp spring afternoon, Harper and I met Gabriel in Central Park. Harper ran ahead, chasing pigeons with a giggle that felt like sunlight. Gabriel took my hand. "I don't want to rush anything," he said. "But I'd like to build something real with you. Something steady. Something Harper can grow up trusting." My heart softened. "I think," I said, smiling up at him, "we already started." Harper raced back and grabbed both our hands. And for the first time in years, the world finally felt whole. A new family, born from truth, strength, and everything we survived. So that's how the story comes to a close. And if you're still here with us until this very moment, my friend, then something in this journey must have touched your heart in a real and honest way. Maybe it reminded you of the strength you forgot you had. Maybe it stirred a memory. Or maybe it simply made you breathe a little deeper tonight. And that matters. You know, the Stoics used to say, "The obstacle is the way." And Olivia's story shows exactly that. Sometimes the pain we never wanted becomes the road that saves us. Sometimes Losing what was hurting us is the only way we make room for what heals us. Marcus Aurelius also wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Olivia couldn't control Ethan, or his cruelty, or the chaos he created. But she controlled who she became after it, and that changed everything. If this story brought you courage, if it helped you feel seen, or if it simply made you believe a little more in resilience and justice, then don't leave quietly. Show your love, like the video, share it with someone who needs strength tonight, and subscribe to our channel so you don't walk these journeys alone. We're here, with you, and your story matters too. Before we end, I hear something important for YouTube and for all of you watching. This story is a fictional dramatization, created solely for emotional reflection and entertainment. It isn't based on any real individuals or real events, and any resemblance is purely coincidental. Our goal is to explore themes of resilience, healing, and personal growth through storytelling, not to present factual claims or real-life accusations. We believe that stories, even fictional ones, can help us learn, feel, and connect more deeply with our own lives. As the Stoics reminded us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and sometimes imagination is exactly where we find the clarity we need. Thank you for watching with an open heart and understanding mind.